The ancient Stoics understood something that most of us spend our entire lives learning the hard way. They knew that human nature has a peculiar quality. It hides itself behind masks of politeness, charm, and carefully crafted personas. Marcus Aurelius, writing in his private journal, never intended for the world to see, reminded himself that people are not always what they appear to be. The emperor, who had seen the rise and fall of countless men in positions of power, knew that true character only emerges when the stakes are real, when comfort is stripped away, and when no one is watching to judge or reward. The Stoics were philosophers of reality, not idealism. They observed human behavior with the precision of scientists, understanding that virtue and vice reveal themselves not in grand proclamations or public displays, but in the quiet moments when we think no one is looking. Epictetus, who spent years as a slave before becoming one of Rome's most respected teachers, learned to read people not by their words, but by their actions under pressure. He taught that if you truly want to understand someone's character, you must observe them in three specific situations that strip away pretense and reveal the soul beneath. The first revelation of character comes through power. Epictetus taught his students that if you want to test someone's true nature, give them authority over others. Power is perhaps the most revealing microscope through which to examine human character, because it removes the constraints that usually keep our darker impulses in check. When someone gains power, whether it's a promotion at work, authority in a relationship, or even something as simple as being placed in charge of a group project, their true self begins to emerge. The person who was once humble and considerate may suddenly become demanding and dismissive. The individual who spoke eloquently about fairness and justice may begin to show favoritism and make decisions based on personal benefit rather than principle. Power reveals character because it offers choice without immediate consequence. The manager who no longer needs to please their superiors, the parent who holds complete authority over their children, the friend who suddenly has something others want. These are the moments when we see who someone really is. The Stoics observe that truly virtuous individuals remain unchanged by power. They continue to treat others with the same respect, maintain the same principles, and make decisions based on wisdom rather than ego. They understand that power is temporary and that true strength comes from self-control, not control over others. Watch how someone exercises authority, and you will see their soul laid bare. The second window into character is how someone treats those who can do nothing for them. Seneca, despite his immense wealth and political influence, wrote extensively about the importance of treating all people with dignity, regardless of their station in life. He understood that kindness shown to those who cannot return favors is the purest form of virtue, because it serves no ulterior motive. This principle cuts through the facade of social climbing and reveals genuine moral character. The way someone speaks to a waiter, treats a janitor, or interacts with a homeless person tells you everything you need to know about their heart. Most people can be charming to their boss, respectful to their clients, and generous to their friends because these relationships offer mutual benefit. But the person who is patient with the elderly cashier moving slowly, who acknowledges the cleaning staff with genuine appreciation, who speaks kindly to the telemarketer interrupting their dinner, this person possesses true character. The Stoics taught that virtue is not circumstantial, it is consistent. A person of genuine character treats everyone with the same level of respect because they understand that every human being possesses inherent dignity. They do not calculate the worth of their kindness based on what they might receive in return. Watch someone in situations where they gain nothing from being decent, and you will discover who they truly are. The person who cuts in line when they think no one important is watching, who speaks rudely to service workers, or who ignores those they perceive as beneath their social status, reveals a character built on selfishness and pride rather than virtue and wisdom. The third and perhaps most revealing test of character is how someone responds to adversity, failure, and insult. Marcus Aurelius faced plague, war, betrayal, and the constant pressure of ruling an empire. Yet his personal writings reveal a man committed to maintaining his philosophical principles even in the darkest moments. He understood that anyone can maintain composure when life is going well, but true character emerges when everything falls apart. The Stoics believe that obstacles are not impediments to character, but opportunities to reveal and strengthen it. When someone faces failure, do they blame others or take responsibility? When they are insulted or criticized, do they respond with anger and defensiveness? Or do they pause to consider whether there might be truth in the criticism? When they encounter setbacks, do they become bitter and resentful? Or do they adapt and find ways to grow from the experience? These responses tell you everything about their internal landscape. The person of character faces adversity with what the Stoics called equanimity, a steady, calm acceptance that allows them to respond thoughtfully rather than react emotionally. True character is revealed not in the absence of negative emotions, but in how someone manages those emotions when they arise. The Stoic understands that they cannot control what happens to them, but they can control their response. They know that anger, resentment, and blame are choices, not inevitable reactions. When you observe someone navigating difficulty with grace, accepting responsibility for their role in problems, and maintaining their principles even when it would be easier to abandon them, you are witnessing genuine strength of character. The beauty of these three observations is that they require no special access or intimate knowledge of someone's private life. Power dynamics, interactions with those who cannot reciprocate, and responses to adversity happen in full view of anyone willing to pay attention. The Stoics taught that wisdom begins with observation, and patient observation reveals truth that no amount of conversation or self-presentation can obscure. In our modern world of carefully curated social media profiles and polished public personas, these ancient insights become even more valuable. People can control their image, craft their reputation, and manage their brand. But they cannot control how they instinctively react when their authority is challenged, when they encounter someone who cannot benefit them, or when their plans fall apart. These moments of truth cut through the noise of self-promotion and reveal the character beneath. The Stoics would remind us that this knowledge serves two purposes. First, it protects us from being deceived by those who would take advantage of our trust. Understanding true character helps us choose our friends, partners, and associates wisely. But perhaps more importantly, it holds up a mirror to our own behavior. When we understand what reveals character in others, we become more conscious of what our own actions reveal about us. In the end, the Stoics teach us that character is not a destination, but a daily practice. Every interaction with power, every encounter with those who cannot serve our interests, and every moment of adversity is an opportunity to choose who we want to be. The person of true character makes these choices consistently, not because anyone is watching, but because virtue is its own reward. Watch for these three things in others, but more importantly, watch for them in yourself. For in the end, the only character you can truly control is your own, And that control is where all wisdom begins.